So hello guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video we will be discussing a very famous topic: how to use AI in bug bounty, cybersecurity or hacking. And I know this is a little bit late video because in this video we will be covering everything from very scratch to and very advanced topics. So before going into the video, as you all guys know that we are having few courses. We are having courses of Bug Bounty Batch 10. I got 7 passes by the launch of the video. So you can check it out. Some students will get the 50% off. So if you want it, check the link in the description. And also we are having advanced Bug Bounty courses. If you're interested into it, don't forget to check it out. The all contents are in the description and new batch will launch soon. And also we are having few podcasts, few courses. You guys know the recorded courses. One of them was free, so stay active on the Twitter. And last but not least, we are launching two new things. So stay tuned on the Twitter. We are launching the scary methodology, one of the costliest course that I have on my website. So you will learn what is the actual methodology, what are the actual resources we use, and I also have many people's podcaster into that. So you will see that a lot of contents into this. And one more course, the art of XSS. We will be doing a very in-depth approach to XSS. So don't forget to check it out. That was for the promotions. That's all. Now let's get into the video.
So here we guys on our computer screen. Now first of all, when it comes to AI, we know two AIs, usually the most known AIs, ChatGPT and Bard. Bard by Google, ChatGPT by OpenAI, I guess. So first of all, we will take a look. Like we all know that in bug bounty we can do creative work, and as we all know, AI can remove repetitive work, not creative work. So we will take a look on how we can create any sort of script. We can do multiple things using it. So if I take a look on here, we can create scripts, plugins, reports, bypass payloads, plugins. But I guess the plugin is two times here. Python scripts, vulnerability in code, function of a code, making docs, bug bounty programs, CV learning, automation, nuclei, and many more things. So we'll take a look on all of them here. So let's start with scripts. Look, you can tell the AI or ask the AI to create any sort of script for finding anything. So if I type here, write a bash script for parameter finding in a web app. It's a very basic thing. You can just term spider, Arjun, and that sort of tools here, but this is just a demonstration for it. So it will usually find parameters or something called equals to. You can see this here, and it will give you a parameter and the values. And here is the example usage of it. Now let me just modify the code and try to just change it web app from way back URL. Let's see what response we are gonna get. So as you can see that it is gonna use the -v wayback URL, and here's the found parameters, and then it will give you all the parameters. Now let's take one more look. Let's say not from wayback URLs. Let's say by spidering the website. I don't know what response will I get. Let's say. So here's an example. It is gonna use wget temp.html. It is gonna grab everything using this sort of code. Now it is done with this sort of URL. Now let's make one more thing. There are two sort of things: spider.sh and the URL. It's the usage. Let me just modify it with a little bit more complex task. Write a bash script for let's say finding of URLF injection in a list of subdomains. Taking too long. I don't know. Maybe my net or having any issues. So it is gonna be using the subdomain file, and then it will change the CRL and it will add the CRLF headers. You can see this, and this is the usage. As you can say, replace subdomain.txt file with your path, replace slash path to the endpoint. Obviously, you have to do that, and save the script file to CRLF injection.sh. And then try to run it using this command. All what you need is curl properly installed on your device. Now that's the basic usage of making script. Now you can make an advanced script, like suppose you want to create any sort of automation script. Now how will you do that? You can command create a automation. Okay, let's say automation script which will ask me to enter a domain and then use subfinder amas httpx, and let's say one more tool, let's say subfinder amas httpx, and then we can name two more tools, wayback urls, one by one, and make a make a folder to separately save the file. Let's say what we get. This is a little bit complex task, but usually there's yeah, obviously, as you can see that our our ChatGPT has done that. It is using the tool one by one, and it will just save all the payloads to a different directory. As you can read the code, the result saved in the particular directory that you want to create, right? So you can just make any sort of you know domains and that sort of things. Now you can also make it a little bit more advanced. Write a bash script to find log4j in web app. So to find log4j in web application, you can use the following bash script. Now here we are done with the thing. Now also, as you guys know about the CVs, you can use this for CVs. Like let's say make a bash script for let's say CV hyphen 2023 1224448. I guess there are some sort. No, we are done with that. It is not log4j. I guess it is the log4j. I don't remember the latest CV name. Yeah, you can create any sort of template for any any sort of bugs in here. Also, that's the first usage of this thing. Um, and in a script, it's completely based on your creativity. Okay, you have to just deal with it. How you can do things with it. What do you want the AI to do? Now you can just tell it to create any sort of malicious code. Maybe it might respond to you if you write it in a tricky way. I will not suggest it, but definitely you can do that. Now, if you take a look on the plugin base, so let's say you want a sort of plugin for Burp Suite. So let's say make a Burp Suite plugin for mm, for, for finding any type of SSTI inject table, or I will say SSTI. Let's just type SSTI. There is an issue. No, it will do the thing. So it is making a burp suite plugin for you can say detecting the particular SSTI payload using the 1337 as you can see this. It is writing a whole burp suite plugin, and that can help you a lot. If you go here and go to the extensions, you can try to add it by yourself. Okay, you can try your plugins here. So there are no big issues. You can try it. Now, let's see. Let's give it a little bit more complex thing. But first of all, let me allow it to complete this thing. It is still not completed. So that's the thing. You can just see how to use this. Open Burpsuit Extender tab. Click on Add button. Extension tab. Select Python as extension type. And browse to the late browser. Select the scanner.py file. And here you have your own payload or own, you can say that a particular plugin that can work according to you. If you want to do something a more specific thing, like let's say for finding any type of possible vulnerable parameter for accesses, usually known as that, but I won't suggest that. Let's say one more thing. Let's say crlf, or let's not use this crlf, ssrf, a possible vulnerable parameter for it. So here it is writing a whole code for it. So it is writing a whole code for it. You can just see that. I'm gonna stop it right now. I'm just trying to show you how it works. The plugin making is usually not an issue. It won't give you any sort of issues. Now the last thing I would like to make with the plugin is possible parameters for, or I will say, for finding any type of open redirect. Now that's the thing. You can see that. Now you can also just make this continue, and but our code is done yet, so I'm not gonna make it continue. Let's say a few more things. So we are done with plugins. It is also based on a creativity, how you want to create, what you want to create. You can usually use Burp Suite plugins for finding any sort of parameters or finding any sort of a particular thing. So you can do a lot of things using it. Now the last thing is report. So I will not say that it will contribute in writing a good report, or it will not report. It will not make a complete, a very good report. But yeah, it can help you to do a report. So let's say we're gonna make a report for any bug. Let's suppose I will say let's make a report for command injection. Command injection. For this, it can help you. Like you can just usually use. So you can see that it is just telling you to mention this particular, details below, but it is not gonna give you a particular example. So in that scenarios, what you can do is write impact and remediation of command injection. You can use this in the sort of particular report writer or in a particular report assistant. These are the usual impacts that you will see here, and then the remediation. Right. So let me just create a report using this. Let me just copy all these things here. Impacts, remediation. Now these are the point-to-point remediation. I just have to name them, so I'm not just doing it right now. It's for demonstration, but yeah. Now, what is command injection? If it's a CV, you can mention it. So let me just say, what is command injection? So it is giving me a whole in-depth thing. But if you want something like, what is command injection in 100 words? So it just gave me result. But you can also use this thing. Give me a short description of 100 words. It is gonna give you a response. But yeah, if you still want a shorter response, you can do this thing. I'm just gonna use this thing. Now next thing, let's say, you just have to add that just to reproduce, and maybe you can ask for a few blogs about command injection. There are few references that you can add to your report if you want to like hear from something from hacker one, bug crowd, open bug bounty report, SPX report. So you can use this as references in your report. So this is one of the main thing that can help you while trying to find any bugs in it. Now let's move to the basic. Now these are the basic things. Now let's move to the bypasses, right? So we usually need access to bypass. If we take a closer look into it, then it's not the only thing that we need to bypass. So let me try to see how to bypass. It might give you a result, but yeah, you can try. You can do double URL encoding like this, hex encoding like this, and these are the reasons that might work. So these are the few things that you can use any sort of things like that. So I'm not gonna make the bypass part very longer, or I will make not make this part a very lengthy thing. But yeah, you should do that. As you can see, that it is for only for educational purpose, so don't use it wrong. Now let's say URL encoding for SSTI payload, double encoding. So obviously they are gonna tell you the same methods. But on the other hand, let's change the encoding and let's name it the web application firewall. For those who don't know, common techniques to bypass web is using payload variations. You can try different variations of payload splitting. Let me just here are a few methods. You will get few methods. I'm stopping it to show you some another payload. So obfuscation and encoding, as you can see that you will get the few ideas of a method. It's not giving you exact payload. So this is the issue that comes with the chat GPT sometimes. Another payload, TRLF, TRLF. So it is also not gonna help in it. Let's give a very specific payload. I just want to bypass this so I can enter any sort of URL into it. It is giving obfuscation, content and manipulation, protocol switching, method manipulations, time delays, fragmented payload, SSL and TLS. Now, if you guys still wants to learn about the bypasses and all the other things, then here are few things that I have already learned. Let's just take a look on it. Let's take a look on it. As you can see that here are few courses. One of them was free for the Twitter. So if you are not on my Twitter, follow me there. Now in this particular section, we have covered a lot of bypasses. As you can see this 403, no rate limit, captchas and many more. So you can check it out. Link is in the description. After it, let's move to the next thing, Python scripts. I guess we have already seen how to create Python scripts, right? Now how to find vulnerability in your code. So if you have any sort of vulnerable code in your any sort of lab codes and that sort of thing. So if I just let's find some sort of vulnerable code. So here I'm trying to find a code and I got this thing here. So let's say login.jsp. This is a 124 line code. Let's copy draw file. Now find vulnerabilities in this code. And now I'm giving the code in double tag. So let's see what response we will get. If there is any vulnerability that can detect, it will just tell you. Now, as you can see, the code concentrates user supplied values, username and password directly into the SQL query without proper sanitization. So you can do SQL injection in the particular code. The username supplies without no particular sanitization, so it can also do XSS. Lack of input validation, obviously improper error handling. To mitigate these vulnerables, you can do that. But yeah, that is how you can do, find the particular sources of code, and that you can find vulnerabilities in a particular code by completely using AI. That's the power of it. Now let's just take another file. Other than this, let me just try to do let's say, the password or the register thing. The register might get the same result. Let's try another one. The search one. Copy the code. So let's see if we get any sort of perfect result. There is access as obviously it's a search bar. SQL injection obviously. Input validation. So it is giving me the same result. So yeah, you can then be doing a debug information leakage. But this is sort of same thing. Let's try one more advanced thing like basket.jsp. The provided code appears to be JSP, right? So in the basket you can do just two things. But obviously lack of input validation, debug information leakage, CSRF vulnerability. Right? So in every time you will get some sort of different things and that can help you in a lot manner when you're trying to hunt. Now that was a basic idea about this thing. Now let me just do a very different thing. Functions of code. You all know that why the particular thing is gonna work and how it is gonna be working. If I just take a look here, just trying to use the same once again. I don't know, right? I usually got this sort of code. I don't know what this code does or what how why the code is there, what it's working. So what is this code having its function? So let's say what is the function of the code? Let's say it's a snippet to check where the basket ID variable is not null, right? So it will explain you what the code is doing actually there, what is the function of the code and many more things. So that's the basic usage of it. But yeah, you can use it in a different manner. You might get a request, you might get a particular parameter, you don't know what it do, right? If I just explain, um, what is this thing? I don't know what this parameter is there, or let's say what it says. So SiteMinder is a popular management system developed by Bardcom, formerly C Technologies. It provides centralized authentication authorization services for the web application. So it will usually give you what its token values, what how it is there, what it's perfectly working situation, and that sort of thing. Now making docs, you can use it, right? So that's very simple. Write a Google Doc for finding ID equals to parameter of a website. So just a second of a website. So it is trying to make any sort of Google Doc. So you can see that it is very simple in URL ID equals to. So let's say now here is any particular Google Doc that can help you to find this sort of things. Now in the site menu you have to just give the site that you want to search on. It is a very basic thing, but yeah, it can help you a lot. So after the docs, let's take a look. I'm not marking the bug bounty program as a separate topic here because usually for finding bug bounty you got HackerOne, Bug Crowd, Integrity, SQL, Hack and Proof, and multiple other platforms. You don't need anything for it. For finding bug bounty programs, you can do multiple things. You can just say that find bug bounty program of CISTO Cisco. I don't know about if they are having any sort of bug bounty program or not. As an AI model, I don't have real-time access to specific bug bounty programs to find it. But Cisco operates a bug bounty program named as CSVP. Now let's just recreate this with few things. Um, make a Google Doc for finding responsible disclosures of .uk site. So here it gave you just a particular thing, stop generating. So site UK in-text responsible disclosure. Now let me just modify it a little bit more with minimum rewards of 100, whatever currency. I'm just marking it as dollar here, $100. So the minimum reward is also specific here, right? You can just also mark this as a reward and multiple things. So this is how you can use this in actually finding the public programs or also bug bounty programs. Now let's just now we are done with it. Let's take a look on CV learnings. So that's a very simple thing. So is there a new CV? Let's just Google it. So let's move to the next section, CV learning. Suppose you're having a new CV, so it can help you understand that. What is this? I don't know what is this. It is not having a particular access to it, so it will just refer you to the particular, the databases. Let's try to write it properly if it is having any sort of access. As you can see that when you write it properly, you will just find a particular thing. It's Apache Tomcat web server directory traversal vulnerability, a very big name for it. Let's say the limit outbands. We are back here with another account. Now let's take a look here. You know about the CV, right? We are done with the CVs. Now we need to take a look on automation for the nuclei. So we have created automation for multiple bugs, multiple recon procedure in the first section script. If you have skipped that, you are not watching this man. Now, let's mark the automation is done. Now let's take a nuclei. You all know the nuclei tool by project discovery. Let's say, let me just command it to create a particular template for. So here we're trying to create a template for this CV. So okay, it's making this thing. Sorry, create a nuclei template for CV. By project discovery dot YAML template for CV 2021 4179. So here it is gonna create this template, but usually a lot of people has found that the CV that's created by this or the templates that you are usually gonna create using the ChatGPT automation or any sort of automations, you are gonna find a very common issue. You will get this as a not working. So there is something. There is a tool. Let's say just a second. You can use. So whenever you will find that issue, try to use a nuclear hyphen validate for this sort of thing. If I just go to the directory, so here are my few of my custom templates. If I just name it here, suppose nuclear hyphen t citrix one and then hyphen validate. If it is having any issues, it will just give me with the particular line number. If this line is having issue, then you can solve it very simply by taking a look on another CV. So if you find any sort of error in a particular line number, you can just simply go there, try reference of any other nuclear templates and make your own CV or a template for any particular bug. That's how you can use that thing. Now the last one, RC payload generation. So I don't think you will need that much, but yeah, you can use rarcells.com. I don't know why my net is having this much issues today. You can use the Rails also creating the payloads of the RC, but you can simply say that.
So that is for today's video. Don't forget to check out the links in the description and don't forget to follow me on Twitter so you will find out all the recent courses and the free courses.